Can I stand to see a black person play a fictional fish without resorting to chugging bleach? Well, to answer that, we have some help with this video from Patience Xina? Oh, bing chilling. Okay, Little Mermaid race swapping. Now, judging this by its title, its popularity, and the fact that I think this chick might be black, obviously she makes arguments as to why race swapping is bad. Firstly, I will say I completely agreed with her on one thing, that it's lazy to call everyone who dislikes this stuff a racist.
People seem to really like to oversimplify it by simply saying, those who disagree with this are racist.
I don't think you're Hitler if you don't want the live-action Elsa to be played by Whoopi Goldberg. But also, don't be hypnotized by her British accent. Patience says some kinda dumb stuff.
So the first explanation is that human beings are just very sentimental creatures. We build attachments to people, to things, and also to fictional characters. And so we don't really like it when people tamper with our favorite characters in any way. If they had recast Ariel as a blonde girl, people would have been just as upset.
I know this is not true. When I was growing up, Aunt May used to look like this. Peter, I'm so old. Now she looks like this. Awooga. Now there was a bit of controversy about the new Aunt May's appearance, but let's be real, you probably didn't hear a peep about it. I definitely didn't see people like the Quartering complain. Tell me you'll find as many videos with as many views bitching about Aunt May. They seem to reserve their anger for when the difference is specifically skin color. Or just look at James Bond. When Daniel Craig was first cast, there was some backlash, because Bond has historically been tall and has dark hair, whereas Craig is a blonde manlet. But that controversy was nowhere near the scale of when people discussed a hypothetical black Bond or a black Peter Parker.
Oh, we're gonna make Spider-Man black now? We're just gonna make Spider-Man black now? That's what we're gonna do? We're just gonna make Spider-Man black? That's what we're gonna do?
The reality is, people don't treat race and skin color as just another physical trait. And it's not just the scale of the backlash, the nature of the complaints and who complains are very different. When you change hair color or height, some people may say, oh, that's not how I imagined it, this sucks. But if you turn up the melanin, oh, it becomes, oh, I hate their pandering, oh, the agendas. It makes the energy around the backlash generally very different. So saying people would be just as upset if you change hair color or something else like that, that's just wrong. And even if it's not, if you're actually upset by just the pure aesthetic change, if it's anything more than a slight passing annoyance, then you're a baby. You're more immature than Disney's target audience. I completely understand the argument. I didn't like how Ginny Weasley looked in the Harry Potter movies. It didn't match my mental image. But even if I understand the feeling, I'm telling you it's stupid either way. The kids who didn't grow up with that old Ariel don't give a crap about your headcanon, and nor should they. This was originally a Danish folktale. Early drawings of her didn't have red hair.
You know not what you do!
Adaptations have always existed and always will. If the movie sucks, like the quality of the writing and the acting is dog, then clown on it for that. But your critique should be more than it's different so it's bad. Wanting things to stay exactly the same forever because of your nostalgia, because you can't let go of your childhood, it's ridiculous. Go watch the old movie, it still exists. In the end, I didn't hate the Harry Potter movies because Ginny looked a bit different to how I imagined. I hated it because the movie sucked. Also, sorry, the actress just did not act well.
Open up, you. Don't you trust me?
I did not hit her. It's not true.
I think this issue is actually really simple. If you're meant to accurately represent a particular history or culture, don't race swap. So non-fiction characters is an easy one. But also stuff like Mulan. It's set in ancient China, she should probably be Chinese. Secondly, characters where race is more than just a superficial trait. So if it has social implications and informs who they are. Like Harold and Kumar, they have to be Asians. They wouldn't be the same people if they were anything else. It would be a different movie.
Thank you, come again.
Tony Soprano has to be Italian. The dude from Get Out has to be black. The girlfriend's family he's with has to be white.
I love you.
These people cannot be race swapped without fundamentally changing their character and the entire story. But James Bond or Ariel, I really don't think their race matters. And ideally, these roles would be played by people who capture their essence best, regardless of ethnicity. They could make Frozone white and I really wouldn't care. So Patience doesn't actually answer the question in her title. Why is Hollywood doing this? She only kinda alludes to it at the end.
Just so they can do their performative pandering.
But it's not all just fake woke pandering. There's more to it, and it's weird to me that Patience doesn't consider that. Everyone ignores this for some reason, but artistic merit is a thing. Maybe this actress was just really good at singing and acting. Maybe she nailed Ariel. Maybe it's because, and this sounds offensive, I don't mean it to sound that way, she looks kind of fishy. If anyone looks like a mermaid, it's this person. It was the same with Daniel Craig. He had that steely, cold look about him. I believed him as Bond, even though he technically didn't look like him. If race swapping means you get the best performer for the role, I think that's fine. Secondly, the biggest reason by far, money. Money. It's the same reason why video games have pushed so hard on women for the last 5 years. It makes no sense for these companies not to twerk for the wallets of such a large subset of the population. Products have always tried to reflect and appeal to their potential market. Just look at Jesus. He should look a little more like me and a little less like that. But he started going viral in Europe, so this is how early artists portrayed him. Today, non-white people are a growing consumer base in the West. Of course, modernized art will try to reflect that because it makes the audience more likely to connect and spend. If black people feel like they're being pandered to, that's because they are. They want you to feel good, they want your money. The whites had to deal with that pandering for years. I think you're ready to handle some now. And lastly, yeah, there probably is a bit of an agenda. They want to be inclusive, good representation, all that stuff. Patience says she thinks representation is important, but she implies that you should only pursue that with entirely original characters.
I have no idea why Disney continues to recycle and give us leftovers. Everybody is happy to support a good Disney film, provided the story is original and good.
But clearly all these non-original films rake in the money too.
To the black people who celebrate these race swaps, I really would like you to demand more from these filmmakers, because if they can use their creativity and be original when they write stories like Moana, then why do you not demand the same for your own black representation?
Firstly, you can have representation from original and non-original stories. I don't know why that has to be a conflict. It's not like having a black Ariel somehow devalues Black Panther. Like, this kind of comment confuses me so much. Let's quickly read it together. My issue as a black person is I'm tired of seeing black people just in the lens of whiteness. Like, we can't be seen as princesses unless we get hand-me-downs from white stories. Again, I'm not sure what makes Ariel a particularly white story, but sure. I feel like blackwashing, as many have called it, is literally just that. Putting a black face on an otherwise white character. There's no black culture there. Ah yes, that one culture that I guess unites all black people. Is it really so diabolical to have a character just happen to be black? Like, do they have to start rapping or doing a tribal dance? But also, their point is just naive. We're in the age of remakes and risk-averse franchise films. That's the top-tier meta. They print money. You can say, oh, just make more original films. There are success stories like Moana out there, but it's just easier to do remakes. Original films come with a lot more risk. It's like trying to debate a dog into not eating a piece of meat you drop in front of it. 9 times out of 10, it's gonna eat it.
They've decided that red-haired female characters are going to be their collateral damage. Every time we have new black representation, we lose red-haired white women's representation.
Technically, Zendaya's MJ is an original character. It's an homage to Mary Jane, but it's not a replacement. They have different names, different personalities. The similarities start and end at their initials. But hey, maybe she has a point. Maybe there is a ginger side going on. And while we're feeling sorry for redheads, when people think diversity and inclusion, they usually just think black. But South Asians, Native people, Hispanics, they all seem to be underrepresented. I want to see a fairy tale character doing the Indian head bob thing.
I do think that this video serves to normalize white supremacist rhetoric in a way that might not be intended. Their most visible function is to validate racism, to validate those who want to protect whiteness as an identity, to defend the cultural hegemony of white supremacy. Because clearly these desires, many of them genuine, have been taken advantage of in this backlash. They've been co-opted by people who definitely don't care about black stories and used as a thin mask to hide their racist dog whistling. That is what you're propping up when you use this argument against the casting of a black actor.
Noah. Bruh. Not everything has to be linked to a scary group of conservatives co-opting shit and reigniting the Third Reich. There's a line where you go from addressing people's arguments for what they are to then also addressing the harmful, broader implications of their opinions. And for me, Noah misreads where that line is. Just looking at her channel, her content and her audience probably does lean a little bit right. I probably disagree with a ton of stuff here. Maybe she's even more extreme than how she presents herself, but I think the points she makes are shared by a lot of moderate and like fairly centrist people. To be honest, her opinions are almost painfully normie, to the point where they're actually just really boring. I need schizo energy here. It's one thing if her videos had like a bunch of racist, dog whistling, sus comments, but they don't. Mostly you need to meet people where they are and just contend with the arguments they're making, instead of preemptively worrying about some potential hypothetical echo chamber some amount of their audience might one day go down. Because most importantly, it's just not going to convince anyone, and it probably feels crap. I don't want someone to come to my channel telling me that, oh, just because you're left-leaning, you're another step for people to go down like a raging, violent Stalinist echo chamber. So, okay, maybe, but like when the links are that tenuous, I can't account for that while also feeling okay speaking my mind. If you think I'm wrong about something, just address that instead of immediately trying to label and moralize. Okay, that's all I got. See you next time. Bye bye.